Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are on a very specific mission. We're diving into a really specialized source, an intensive, very detailed 3-day plan.
Right.
And it's specifically for achieving potty success with a child who has autism.
Exactly. And when we looked at this material, it was immediately clear that this is not, a general guide.
Yeah.
This isn't just about teaching a habit. The mission here is really about understanding sensory regulation, establishing hyper-clear visual communication, and building a routine that offers predictability.
I see. Okay, so let's unpack that. The foundational difference right off the bat is that this plan, it demands intensity.
Oh, absolutely. Intensity and precision.
It's all about high-frequency reinforcement and this rigid visual structure to make the whole process concrete for the child.
You're basically engineering the environment for success. And that engineering, it starts with the core philosophy. The source sums it up perfectly. P is the reward.
P is the reward. I find that so insightful.
Yeah.
It immediately shifts the focus away from, the sticker or the candy and puts it back on that internal connection of cause and effect.
Precisely. The goal is what they call the connection. That's the light bulb moment.
Right.
The child realizes that the uncomfortable feeling of a full bladder is relieved by sitting on the toilet.
And to make that happen, you need a lot of practice opportunities.
Yeah.
Which brings us to preparation.
Yes. And the source is, well, it's insistent. Preparation is everything.
This isn't a casual start. There's a whole checklist that has to be done 48 hours before day one.
Right.
First up, the yes snacks.
These are your high-value rewards, and they are, sacred. They have to be reserved only for successful toileting. So we're talking a few mini marshmallows, a special sticker, maybe 30 seconds of a favorite video.
But doesn't that take a ton of discipline from the caregiver? I mean, how do you stop yourself from just giving in when you're frustrated?
It takes extreme vigilance. That's the non-negotiable rule.
Sure.
If that yes snack is given for, say, finishing dinner, its value is it's completely diluted.
Gone. Okay.
It has to be isolated.
Right. And then there's the hydration strategy, fluid loading.
You're stocking up on preferred liquids, juices, diluted Gatorade, even watery fruits like watermelon.
All to create more frequent, predictable opportunities for that connection to happen.
Then you get into the sensory setup. The source recommends a full sensory kit,
Which means having noise-canceling headphones ready to go.
specifically for the sound of the toilet flushing. That can be a huge source of fear.
And crucially, a footstool. Right. The source really stresses proper positioning.
Oh, it's vital. You have to make sure the child's feet are flat and supported to get that essential squatting position.
And that's not just about comfort.
No, it's about biomechanics. That position helps the pelvic floor fully relax, which is especially important for bowel movements.
That level of detail is exactly what makes this approach so focused. And lastly, environment prep.
Yep. Removing rugs, setting up a tiled base camp near the bathroom.
Okay, but before we jump into day one, there's a big safety note.
A critical one. You have to ensure the child has no medical history of constipation or urinary issues. And if they haven't had a bowel movement in 48 hours, you pause. You stop immediately and call a pediatrician.
Health and comfort first, always.
Always.
Okay, so preparation is done. Day one sounds like a massive sensory reset, the naked and hydrated phase. How does that actually start?
It starts the second they wake up.
Yeah.
The immediate goal is frequency and removing the sensory conflict of absorbency.
The diaper.
Right. A pull-up or a diaper gives immediate comfortable feedback. By going bottomless, no diapers, no underwear, you replace that with the unmistakable sensation of being wet. It's the fastest feedback loop possible.
So diaper comes off right away, nothing below the waist, and then the hydration clock starts.
And it's a rigorous clock. You're pushing fluids every 15 minutes. And then comes the 20-minute prompt.
Every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes. You lead the child to the bathroom for a sit, and you use a timer for just 3 to 5 minutes so the child knows exactly when that demand ends.
That sounds relentless, pushing fluids every 15, prompting every 20.
It is. It's why the family has to clear their schedule for 3 days. But that intensity is what generates enough repetitions to form the connection quickly.
So the communication script. This feels like the real secret sauce here. Why is avoiding that simple question, do you have to go, so crucial?
Because for many children with autism, questions are high demand. They often lead to resistance or just an automatic no response.
Regardless of what their body is telling them.
Exactly. So you move away from asking for permission and you move toward a simple declarative instruction.
So instead of a question, it's a statement. The prompt is just, It is potty time.
It is potty time. And during the sit, the language is also really low demand. Body is quiet. We are waiting for pee.
You're communicating the expectation.
Yes. And the response to success has to be high energy, but clear and brief. Pee in the potty. You did it. Here is your reward.
But if there's an accident, the response is neutral.
Strictly neutral. This is key. You avoid what the source calls big energy.
No big reaction.
Just a calm, measured, pee goes in the potty.
Right.
And then cleanup is done together quickly with no shame. You don't want the accident to be associated with a big emotional response from the caregiver.
And all of this requires really strict data collection on day one.
Mm-hmm. You're logging the time of the drink, the sit, the outcome, the accident.
It sounds tedious, but where's the real value?
The value is in personalization. The source says that recognizable patterns usually emerge by 2 p.m. on that first day.
Patterns in what? Like the time between a drink and a success?
Precisely that, the input-output lag time. If the data shows success consistently happens, say, 25 minutes after they drink, then on day 2 you adjust your prompts.
From 20 minutes to 25.
Yes, it becomes predictive. You're prompting just before the body signals the need, which sets the stage for self-initiation.
That brings us perfectly to day 2. So if day 1 is the physical cause and effect, day 2 is more about the mental shift.
It is. You're strengthening that connection into self-awareness. You continue the bottomless approach, but you increase the demand for self-initiation. The plan calls it the pause.
So you're not physically leading them anymore.
Right. You move to what they call shadowing. You're standing a few feet away, reducing the physical prompting.
And you're waiting for a tell.
You're waiting for that little dance, the holding, the sudden stop and play. And when you see it, the script evolves.
So instead of, it is potty time, what do you say?
You make an observation. You say, look at your body. Your body says, potty.
Ah, so you're focusing them on the physical sign, externalizing that internal feeling.
Exactly. You're helping them build what's known as interoception.
Interoception, that's a key term, isn't it?
It's huge.
For listeners who might be new to that, what does it mean in this context?
It's just the awareness of your own internal body signals. A growling stomach, a racing heart, or in this case, a full bladder.
And for children with autism, those signals can be muted or overwhelming.
Right. So by saying, look at your body, you're verbally labeling the external signs that correspond to that internal need. You're bridging that awareness gap.
That really contextualizes the whole thing. Okay, so day 3, the big transition, the real world.
Yes, but this only happens if day 2 went well. You need at least 3 or 4 independent successes. They have to, earn the pants back.
And this is a critical autism-specific distinction. You introduce loose-fitting pants, but no underwear.
Absolutely no underwear.
That feels so counterintuitive. Why is that so crucial?
Because for a lot of kids, especially if they've used pull-ups, the tight, snug, absorbent feel of underwear, it feels too much like a diaper.
And that sensory feedback can trigger an accident.
It can trigger a reflex accident. It can sabotage all the progress you just made. You want them to feel the wetness immediately if it happens to keep that feedback loop clear.
That makes perfect sense. So the day 3 scripts reflect this new phase. For getting dressed, it's first potty, then pants.
Right? And for small outings, and they suggest keeping them very brief.
Like a 10-minute walk?
Yeah, or a quick drive. You use a clear transitional script. We're leaving. We check the potty first. It just ties the change in routine to the action. Predictability.
Okay, that covers the standard progression. But the source materials are so rich because they have this huge troubleshooting section.
Which is the most valuable part, really. It acknowledges that progress isn't linear.
Right. A dry morning and a wet afternoon is still progress.
Exactly. And one common stall they identify is whole refusal. The child holding it for hours once they realize what's happening.
And the strategy for that is to disrupt their ability to hold. So more movement, active play, jumping on a trampoline, heavy work.
Right. And when we say heavy work, we mean activities that give deep pressure input, pushing a full laundry basket, carrying a stack of books.
Why does that help with holding?
Well, the goal is twofold. It engages the core muscles, but more importantly, it provides strong proprioceptive input that can help distract and relax the pelvic floor.
You're giving the body something else demanding to focus on.
Exactly. It makes it physically harder to clench and hold everything in. It's a sensory solution to a physical problem.
Let's talk about specific sensory fears. The fear of flushing.
A very common one. It's loud, it's violent, it's unpredictable. The first strategy is headphones, but if that's not enough, you use spatial separation.
The child leaves the room before you flush.
The child leaves, closes the door, then you flush.
And I love the tactile intervention, the flush button sticker.
It's all about control. You put the sticker near the button, and the child gets to press it when they're ready, even from outside the room. It shifts the noise from a threat to a controllable action.
We also have to talk about bowel movement holding. The source says this can feel like losing a part of oneself.
Which is a really profound way to think about it. It can be a very high anxiety event.
Yeah.
And you cannot force it.
So the strategies are physical first, that squatty position.
Yes, supported feet. And second, gradual desensitization. That's where the diaper to potty ladder comes in.
Okay, lay out the steps for us because this is where a lot of people get stuck.
So the goal is to slowly introduce the toilet while honoring the comfort of the diaper. Step 1. They wear the diaper, but they sit on the potty to go.
Okay.
Step 2. While they're sitting on the potty in the diaper, the caregiver cuts a small hole in the center. The waist touches the potty, but they still have the diaper around them.
And step 3.
You remove the diaper entirely. It's a slow, methodical process that breaks the fear down into manageable chunks.
That is so practical. Okay, outside the bathroom, stripping, the child who takes off all their clothes.
Stripping is almost always driven by a sensory need. Either they're seeking tactile input or they hate the waistband or seams. So you address that input need.
With different clothing. Tighter, maybe, or softer.
Right. Or you use a physical barrier, backward one-piece pajamas, that limits access to the zippers and keeps the clothes on.
And finally, the topic that requires the most considered approach. Fecal smearing.
Yes. The source recognizes this is often a search for sensory input. Texture, smell.
That's a huge psychological reframing for the caregiver, right? To see it not as defiance, but as a genuine need.
A need that has to be met in a different, safer way.
And how do you do that?
You provide safe alternatives during playtime. Brown Play-Doh, shaving cream mixed with cocoa powder, finger paints. You give them that input in a safe setting so they don't have to seek it out.
And during the cleanup of an incident,
You use a physical barrier going forward, like a snug bodysuit under the clothes. But crucially, you must stay neutral during cleanup. No big energy.
right, because that high-value attention, positive or negative, can just reinforce the behavior.
Exactly.
So if we pull back and look at all this, the success of this whole plan really hinges on these tiny, consistent details.
It does. The focused prep, the neutral scripting, and this deep understanding of the sensory triggers behind the behavior.
We started by saying this is about building a routine.
Absolutely. And that structure is what provides comfort and predictability. The source makes it clear. If you honor the sensory needs first, the practical skills will follow.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We've talked a lot about structure and scripting, but the source gives you a tangible tool that ties it all together, a printable visual toilet routine.
Yes. This is a 7-step guide. You tape it at eye level, right next to the toilet. The steps are: pants down, sit on potty, pee, poop, wipe, pants up, flush, wash hands.
The power of visual communication.
It's profound. It takes this abstract demand and makes it concrete, predictable, measurable. So the thought to leave you with is, how can you apply that same powerful visual structuring to other complex routines in your life?
It's all about finding that clear, predictable path through the noise. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope these insights help you find success, one structured, intentional